This conference will now be recorded.
Excellent. Thank you. Okay. So first let's talk about tenant management. So fully we are talking about descriptive topic today. Okay. So normally if any customer would like to implement Workday, if they take the licensing, Workday by default, they will provide these 5 tenants. So when I say customer here, let's say Walmart wants to implement Workday. For Walmart, Accenture implementing Workday. Okay. And here Workday. So these 3 roles plays a key role in any implementation. Customer, implementation partner, product owner, and services. Okay. Now, customer, if they want to implement Workday, if they already have the provider, service providers like Accenture, Deloitte, or some other organizations, they will directly reach out to service provider and tell them, and they will explain, hey, we need HR solutions. We heard Workday is good. Can you please give one demo presentation and also let us know how it looks? Best if you will like, we'll proceed further. Now, once they told to Accenture, and they may ask this team, HR team, senior HR team to come to visit their facility with the help of their SMEs, subject matter experts. They will ask to give one presentation, one session for these people. If they like the product, then they will ask how much it costs, etc. If everything is worked out, and then Accenture will reach out to Workday saying that these people wants to implement Workday, and these are the modules. You tell me the cost. That is one. Another scenario. Normally, the service providers also has their own marketing team. They may reach out to Walmart saying that we have Workday is a very good HR application. Why don't you give a try? We will give a week presentation on this, and we will run full workshop. So like that also they do. Or another one, this company directly reach out to Workday, not to the implementation partner, service providers. Directly reach out to Workday and asking them, I would like to implement your application. Can you give one demo presentation? Tell us who is the right implementation partner for our industry, retail industry. Now Workday they will maintain a kind of a guide, and they'll divide universities for this implementation partner, hospitals, this implementation partner, retails, this implementation partner, oil industry, this implementation partner. Like that, they have their own guide. Based on the project experience, successful implementation, they may recommend. Or Workday also managing maintain own team who will deploy. Okay. So it's up to these people's interest, I mean customer interest, whether they want to go with service providers, they want to go with Workday. Okay. So let's assume this way. Walmart is going with service provider, talking to Workday. Okay, so they're going with this approach. So they reach out to Accenture explain how it works for HR application, then they reach out to Workday. Okay, remember these terms. Customer, implementation partner, okay, application owner or service provider. Okay. Now, no one knows the cost. Even it's a very highly confidential data. No one knows the cost, how much it will be, because they'll maintain a spreadsheet template. They will put total number of hours burned. Based on that, it will generate how many hours required, how many resources required, etc. There is engagement manager will be taking care. Okay. First, let's talk about this, then after I will explain in detail. If customer Walmart would like to implement Workday, by default, they will get these tenants. Implementation 1, implementation 2, which means here we will do implementations. Okay, configurations. To make it simple, configurations. In this tenant, we will do configurations. This tenant also either can do configurations or testing. It's up to your requirement. Sandbox tenant means where the user acceptance testing will happen, and also after post go live, UAT will be happen on the sandbox. Okay, and sandbox is a copy of production data. Production data copy of production data, and we will do some testing to ensure the production data is not impacting, etc. Sandbox preview means it's a copy of production data plus new features. So we know every 6 months Workday will release new features, correct? They will release new features. Whenever they release the new features, we have to test those features. So that's the reason Workday first they will give in the sandbox preview, and then you have to test those 45 within 45 days of time. And if you don't notice any issues or errors, then we are good, well and good. Workday automatically copy the data, the features into the production. Remember, no manual intervention. Workday is going to be taking care. Okay, this is a different topic we will discuss. Production is a tenant where actual end users or admins will log in and they will do day-to-day HR processes, etc. Customer Central is a tool. Recently in 2000, Workday has given this to customers. It's a tool. It helps to migrate the data from source tenant to target. Source to target tenant, it helps to migrate the data. Okay, and this tenant, once the implementation is completed, once the customer moved to the production support, this tenant no longer available. Workday will automatically inactivate it. Customer has to continue with this approach. Any questions on the tenants? The definitions or examples we discussed.
So once this all data is transferred from the source tenant to the target tenant, the source tenant will be inactivated. The customer is inactivated.
Will be inactivated after post go live. Post go
Okay.
live. Not that once tenant. Yes, yes. Right. This is tenant. Now let's talk about the process, tools, etc. Migration tools. These migration tools we will use only during implementation, not in support projects. Okay, let me list out all. Okay, migration tools. Migration tools is nothing but to migrate the data from one tenant to another tenant. It can be deployment, it can be testing purpose, it can be tenant reconfiguration, whatever that is. These three tools will be used only during implementation. Okay, mass data loads, millions of record if you want to migrate, they're very powerful tools. Okay, and these tools we will use post go live support. Implementation is done. Okay, implementation is done and you are in support. If you want to create 100 positions, if you want to hire 1,000 employees, if you want to do compensation changes for 50,000 employees or 50 employees, whatever, we will use this one. Aux stands for object transporter. Object transporter. If you want to migrate the data from one tenant to another tenant, okay, remember setup data, not transactional data. What is the difference between setup and transactions? Anyone, any idea? I have created a car allowance. It is setup data. I created a car allowance. It is setup data. It has eligibility rule. It has compensation element. It has plan. I have assigned the plan to an employee. That is transactional data. Okay, that is transactional data. You cannot migrate transactional data with this. You can migrate only setup related data. Please remember the point. Okay, only setup related data. Solution is for reports and integrations. We can use this one to migrate reports, integration from one tenant to another tenant. We will use solution. EAB EAB stands for Enterprise Interface Builder. Okay. Any questions here on migration tools? If you're working on implementation, they will train you in this. If you are working on support project, you may require to work on this. At least not this. Okay. They are the migration tools. One more thing you have to remember, these two tools, actually this is going to be, let's ignore this one because Workday has already removed this. These two tools during implementation available only in the customer center. These two tools, we will call it as cloud loader, consolidated. It's available only customer center. These tools you can access anywhere, any tenant, because after deployment we will use these tools. Okay, now process. How we are going to deploy? What is the process? To do this, let me copy the tenants here. The process, normally Workday recommend approach is, this is the process. P0, P1, P2, P3, go live. This Workday recommend approach. You have to implement these many processes. P stands for prototype. Prototype 0, prototype 1, prototype 2, prototype 3, deployment. What happens in P0? In P0, we will configure a simple customer requirement. Something like I will ask the customer, give me 10 employees data, 10 employees name, 10 employees managers. Based on that, I will create a supervised organization, create positions, assign managers, create compensation plans, create hire BP, create change of BP, create termination BP. All the BPs I will configure, just 10 to 50 employees we will do here. Okay, this is nothing but sample build. Okay, sample build. So that them before we are gonna do actual build, the employee will look and feel how the employee record looks, how the compensation data looks, how the once we hire an employee, how the employee looks in the system, how the supervisor organization looks, how the roles looks. They will see for 10 to 15 employees here. It's just to educate the customer. Now here the customer has to take the call whether they like everything. They can say yes. If they want any changes, they have to tell them. Okay, we have to tell them. And we will also use data gathering documents. Say templates. Data gathering templates. It has two types: workbook, process book. Workbook is nothing but setup related. Okay, setup related. Process book is nothing but business process. You remember in higher BP we create a grid. Business process type, optional yes or no, security group, additional comments. So like that we'll have two documents. Setup book is nothing but a spreadsheet template, simple spreadsheet template. Example, time type, full-time, part-time. Employee types, casual, regular, intern. Employee types, contingent employees, employee. How many supervisor organization, all the names. How many cost centers, all the names. How many regions, all the names. And what are all compensation plans, all the names. What is the compensation element needs to be grouped, all the names. Those are all nothing but workbook setup, workbook. Process book is nothing but workflows. Okay, business processes. So here you're going to gather all the data. If you want to remove the data, if you want to add a new data, these two books will play the key role. Okay, for example, let's say you are responsible to create compensation data. Okay, responsible to create compensation data. Then you have to gather the data from the customer by giving the workbook. You have to run at least a week session with them to make them understand what is salary plan, what is compensation element, what is eligibility rule, what is effective date, what is the checkbox, okay, what is FTE, what is exclude from merit. You have to explain all this and make the customer educate and ask the customer to provide the data. That data you will capture in the workbook. And once you capture the data in the workbook, you will send this workbook to your customer and asking them, based on the data you provided, we created or you have created that workbook, confirm I'm going to proceed to configure the data in the tenant. It's nothing but sign off. It's nothing but sign off. Once the customer has taken 3 days, a week time, they will provide their sign off. Yes, all the data what I provided, I confirm, all looks good. Please proceed for configuration. Once they confirm everything looks good, please proceed for configuration. Here we'll start the P1 build. Prototype 1, actual first build. To build where my data is available here. I have workbook now. I have process book now. Where to configure? I will take this implementation 1 tenant. I'll take this implementation 1 tenant and I'll assign to my team. Let's say if I'm working on, I'm talking only compensation. Okay. I may take 3 people, 1 senior, 2 juniors, to manage and maintain the building to give profit to the company. So I will ask these 3 people and I will give the timeline of 4 weeks. If you consider working days, 24 days, 22 days. Sorry, 22 days. Okay, 22 or 24. Let's say 4 weeks of time I will give. I will ask them proceed to configure all the data on all the compensation plans, everything by within 4 weeks. This is the last date. Then the team will start working on these templates. Based on the workbook they have gathered, they will start calling the data every time in the implementation 1 tenant. Now, what happens every day whenever they're configuring, we will schedule a daily call. In the daily call, we will discuss blockers, if any, what is the progress. So these many tasks you have to complete, how many tasks have been completed. If there is any blockers, if there is any blockers, what is the blocker? Is it from customer side or your technical side you are not able to configure or you run into error? Here each other we have to help with the team. We have to help the team to do that. Like that, 4 weeks, we will give the timeline, they will complete the build. Once they completed the build, within 4 weeks or later, they may take more time. Always, it's recommended to complete prior to the timeline deadline. Okay. Now, once the build is done, the next step is P1 only. We are still in P1. Okay. Testing. Now, where I have to do testing? Implementation 2 tenant. I'll take here in my IMPL. Here, it is my testing. This is my testing environment. And here I will ask my team. Here again, customer requirement. Customer can bring their own team for testing. Customer can ask some other implementation partner to do testing. Or if the budgetary issues, customer may ask the same to do perform testing. Here I will give 2 weeks of time to complete the testing. 2 weeks or 3 weeks, depends. Within 2 weeks, again I have a daily call. I will see total I have to run 500 test cases in these 2 weeks. Out of 500 test cases, how many test cases we are running per day? How many resources are working? How many test cases are failed? How many test cases are passed? Okay, that will track with the help of some Jira or some other tool. Here, we have to progress all the test cases. 500 is too much, 150 to 200 I'm saying. Let's take a smaller number, 100. 100 test cases at the end, we will get some results. 99% or 100% in first build itself, we don't get all the test cases pass. Okay, all the test cases never be passed. There are some hiccups, right? Sometimes it's failed, etc. But before that, one point I want to add. My data is configured in the implementation 1 tenant. My testing is implementation 2 tenant. It's a different tenant. How to get the data from implementation 1 to 2? I will raise a case with Workday and I will ask Workday, copy the data, whatever we have configured in implementation 1, copy the same data to the implementation 2 tenant. So they will copy the data to the implementation 2 within 4 hours to 24 hours, depends on the traffic. Traffic in the sense, depends on the request already in their queue. So once they copied the data, then we'll initiate the testing. By the time we should be ready with the test cases. So every day I will schedule a call with my team and track how many test cases you have executed, how many passed, how many failed. If it is failed, what is the reason? Is it a data issue or you have not configured correctly, etc. And also they have to resolve the issues within another 1 week. I will give a timeline 1 more week to resolve the errors. If they run into any error here and they fix the error here, they also has to fix the error in the implementation 1 tenant because this is our master data. Correct? In this tenant only, you have configured all the data, isn't it? So this is our master tenant. This is our testing tenant. If you have error here, you will also have error here as well. Correct? So when you fix it here, you also have to fix it here. So like that, the process should continue. Assume 2 weeks or 3 weeks, they run into errors, they fixed everything, etc. Everything went well. Okay. Now P2 build starts. In this P2 build, before we're moving on to the P2 build, we'll schedule a call with customer, first call with the customer and ask them, what are the data you have given? We have configured and the other test results we are publishing. These many errors we got and we have resolved. We are all good. Shall we proceed to the phase 2 build? Or are you going to give some other changes? Sometimes some customers at the time of P0 or P1, they may not be clear and they may ask some changes here in the next build. Or they may give additional data to configure in the next build. It's up to customer requirement. Okay, that is called change tickets, we will say. And we have to strictly tell the customer any changes you want to do, we will do here. We cannot perform in P3 because it's a production build. Okay, let us know if any changes are required. We are giving 1 week of time. Within 1 week of time, if they're coming with any changes, please include in your scope. Update the workbook, rework on that in the P2 build. If they say no, we will see during our enhancements after post go live. Let's proceed the data water we have provided at this moment. So please ignore and proceed to configure. Okay. Now testing is done. You resolve the errors here. Also, we fix the errors in the implementation 1 tenant. What next? What next? Next is P2 build. So now my implementation 1 is master tenant. Implementation 2 is testing tenant. I don't have any tenants. What to do? I have to subscribe additional tenant from Workday by paying some additional money. So I will ask provide implementation 3 tenant, additional tenant. I will provide a subscription. This tenant is a placeholder. Once the go live is done, I will ask Workday to inactivate this tenant, take this tenant back. Okay. So I'm taking the help of this tenant until the implementation goes. So in the implementation 3 tenant, now this is my master data. The data must be migrated here. With the help of customer central, as I mentioned, this is my source tenant. Source tenant is what? IMPL1, master one. And here my customer central. data migration tool. And which tenant I want to migrate the data? P2 build implementation 3. IMPL 3. Now I will log into customer central. I log into customer central, and then just searching for the. I'm logging to the customer central first, and they'll get the data to the implementation from implementation 1 to customer central. I'm sorry, I'm very poor in this diagram. Get the data from implementation 1 to customer central. I'll log in here. I'll get the data to implementation 1 to customer central. Once I get the data here, I will do the data cleanup. For example, customer do any changes or asking me to include any new changes. I'll include in the spreadsheet template. Then I'll put the data into the implementation 3. P2 implementation. Get the data, do the data cleanup if applicable, put the data in the implementation 3 tenant. Okay, so I will give 3 weeks of time to my team to configure. Once they completed, get the data, put the data, they can complete it within 4 days, 4 days or 3 days only, to be honest, if there is no changes. Assume my implementation 3 tenant has a copy of with clean data from master tenant. Okay, now this is the implementation 3 is going to be act as a master data tenant for upcoming builds. Now, what is the next? Testing. So now I will ask Workday. I will raise a case with Workday, and I will tell them make this tenant as blank. Delete what the data is available in the implementation to. Why? Because I want to reuse for next testing on the build. So within 4 hours to 24 hours, they will make this tenant as blank with zero data. I'll get the tenant here. And then again, I will ask Workday to copy the data from master tenant to here, implementation 2. They will copy the data to the implementation 2. Now the same data is here. Again, I will proceed for testing. This time I'll give only 2 weeks of time and I'll perform testing here. And again, the same process. Schedule a call every day with your team, track the test progress, how many failed, how many passed, total number of test cases left over. Can we complete within 2 weeks of time? How many hours we are working? Do we need to extend the hours? Or do we need to ask our team to work on weekends? Everything as a project manager, we have to see. If everything went well, they completed testing in 2 weeks, and of course, they might have got the errors here. Again, they have to resolve the errors in the master tenant also. Okay, now the next is P3 build. Here is the interesting thing happens. Before you're gonna go to the P3 build, here these 3 roles again they will come into the picture. What are the 3 roles? These 3 roles. Before they're going to the production build, these 3 roles will come into the picture here. Why? Because Workday wants to know whether Accenture has configured correctly and managed and maintained correctly with the Walmart data or not. Okay, this is called project assessment, project quality, to understand whether they've done correctly or not. What Workday will do here, they will come up with, so they'll schedule a meeting and the engagement manager and product owner from this compensation product owner and engagement manager of this company and senior HR person and the compensation lead from this person from Workday also, all they will schedule a call. By sharing the screen, this company, Workday customer, Workday service providers, their SMEs, they will run certain reports. Those are Workday delivered reports, dedicatedly only Workday can run. They will migrate into the testing environment somewhere here, and they will run these reports. Based on the reports outcome, they will give 3 colors. They will highlight 3 colors to the project. One is green. Another one is Amber. Another one is red. So the ones they run the reports, Workday runs the reports, based on the configurations. They'll give one of the color code. Green means the project is excellent, the design is elegant, and they are configured within the proper timelines with proper number of hours. Amber means something went wrong. They're not the design are so many errors are coming in. So project didn't went well. So Workday will give some recommendation to the Accenture how to configure from here. It may impact the project timeline slightly. Okay. By any chance, if anyone got this one, if anyone got this one, provider no longer can continue in the project, Workday directly deal with the customer, which means very hard stop. Whether they generated more billings to the customer and not implemented correctly, or not, I mean, the product quality, whatever they implemented is not up to the mark. So what will happen here is Workday directly own the product. That's the service level agreement between the provider and implementation partner Workday. If you are not implementing correctly, and we will take over the project from there. Assume the project went well. Okay, project went well, and we got the green. Now the next build starts here. Workday role is done here. Next build starts. Same thing again. I will take one tenant. So now I will take implementation one tenant. I'll ask Workday to make this tenant blank. Zero data. I will get this tenant in the phase 3 and migrate the tenant. Log into the customer central. Same process once. Log into the customer central. Get the data from IMPL 3. Put the data into IMPL 1. Okay. Again, after this deployment happened, again, I will ask Workday to clean this tenant, make it as blank so that we will reuse for testing. And this is our upcoming continuous master data type. And once the testing is done, and everything went well, we will ask Workday, we will ask the customer when do you want, I mean, they already have some date. On the scheduled date, the tenant automatically will be migrated to the production environment. That is nothing but go live. From production environment, once it is when go live, on that date onwards, all the end users will access the system and continue their HR things, etc. Okay. And then once the go live is done, sorry guys, 1 second. Once the go live is done, so we will give warranty support. We will, in the sense, Accenture will give warranty support. It will also call it hypercare. Okay, warranty support hypercare. It can be maximum 3 weeks to 1 month. So if any issues are coming, Accenture will at the free of cost, they will resolve the errors for the Walmart. Okay, and after that, once the warranty support work over, now the Walmart can go with another implementation partner, support partner, or they can build their own team to continue the support daily activities from there onwards. There we all will be involved. Issues fixing, enhancements, change tickets, etc. Any questions, anyone? I know it's descriptive, as I mentioned, not that interesting.
Sir, how do we identify the tenants, like which is IMPL 1 and which is IMPL 2?
Right, sir. In the URL, once you logged in, right? For example, just a second. I don't want to record this for this question, sir. Don't mind.
Yeah, okay. It's not a problem.
Whenever here you see 6, here there will be the number, sir. Okay, 6, 7, 12, 13, 14, etc. Production, you don't have any number. Here you have my workday account. My workday is nothing but production. Okay. Any questions, anyone? Any questions?
No, Kiran.
It's a descriptive. Trust me, it's just for an interview. If someone asks, you can explain all this. But in a working, trust me, it doesn't help you at all. Because
Right.
these are all have to be taken care of the engagement manager. Okay. Fine then. Is that okay if we can hold for the day, or do you guys have any other questions I can help?
I'm good, Kiran.
Okay. Thank you. So if no questions, is it okay if we can hold for the day?
Sure, sure.
Sure, sir.
Okay. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you,
Stay safe.
Kiran. Bye-bye.
Go to the recording and let me know if you guys have any questions, please.
And we would have the class
Thank you.
tomorrow, same time, Monday?
In the sense, 8 p.m. Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Sure. Thank you, Kiran. Bye-bye.
Thanks everyone. Take care. Stay safe.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
Thanks. Bye.